Hi guys, we've got another episode. We're back in the man cave again. This time I've had to take down a large portion of my course just to be able to fit this one in. We are going to be doing another build and this one is huge. Stay tuned.
Right, so we are doing a Tamiya. And obviously, being a Tamiya, it's 1/14 scale, so this thing, we have got a Tamiya King Hauler. This thing is a beast. Right, the box is huge, absolutely huge. This one, believe it or not, it's my birthday's coming up, and my dad has actually bought me this. Absolutely amazing, can't believe it. So, thanks Dad, that's awesome. But now I've got to build it. So, if you have a little look, see what's inside the box. So, we have got stuff like liquid thread lock, and decals, instructions obviously. One thing I want to have a look at. Let's have a look at this box here. These. Look at the size of these wheels. They are huge. This is obviously, it's got 8 wheels on the back and 2 wheels on the front. 3-speed gearbox in it. If you've ever seen a Tamiya truck before, they are absolutely beautiful. Right, what I want to do is I'm going to get all of the bags out and tip all the screws and stuff into small containers, make sure they're all labelled up, and then I'm going to, well, I suppose we've got to crack on with this, haven't we? Right, now I've got all of my bits all labelled up nicely in there, all my screws, and what I'm going to do is, first job, get my servos. So we've got a couple of Futaba S3003 servos. So we've connected power to our servo there. If we push select, you can see that it's gone to 1500. So 1500 is the middle point. Okay, so now we've got these centered. The first job, according to the great manual, click over to number 1. Number 1 is basically attaching all the stuff to the servo. So let's not fanny about, let's get cracking on. That's that done. Can't find these bits. Right, okay, so next step after the servos is basically mounting all of the bracketry that goes onto the chassis rails. So I have already done that now. Boom, there we go. Look at this size of this thing, huge, huge. So servos are mounted on, a whole bunch of brackets are put on. Next step, I guess, guys. So next step in this is suspension. Right, these leaf springs, I am gonna make them off camera and then come back to you. Right guys, so boom, boom, suspension is mounted. Now, part number 7 is the diffs. Get these built. Right, so we've got the diffs built and we've actually gone ahead and built the axles. So I've done all of this part, and this part. So we've got the middle rear axle and rear axle. Right, so the next step is we're going to mount these axles. We're going to do that, and that. Possibly some of that. Possibly all of it. We'll see. Well guys, check it out. It's coming along now. Got the axles mounted, front and rear. Everything's working, hopefully. Yeah, there we go, there's suspension. Now, the next step is going to be tackling the gearbox. So, many cogs. Just in case you've never seen inside of a Tamiya gearbox, there it is. So, lots of movements going on, changing gears. It should all run pretty smooth. just going to grease it up now and then put the cover on. Right guys, so we've managed to mount the gearbox in there, the motor's mounted on it. I've managed to get hold of, let's say, this little ESC there, so that's connected on. Just for now, I have got a tiny little receiver there. That's an FR Sky 4-channel receiver, just to get me going for now until it is that I can buy another bloody 6, 8, 12 channel, whatever it is I'm going to need. I've also managed to find myself a 4,200 milliamp hour 7.2 volt battery. That was actually a 9.6, but I had to cut off a couple of cells and resolder it, so it's working for now. So we've got everything is all up and running. I'm going to be using my FR Sky QX7S transmitter.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks! Look at me!
Mr. Meeseeks. So I've set it up, King Hauler. I've set up my gears on this switch so I can change gear, you know, depending on which gear I'm in. And I've also got my forwards and backwards set up on this switch over here, so I can just flick a switch and then I can go into reverse, because at the minute I'd need to be stuck in the middle point, and this is more of a drone controller, I suppose. But yeah, so done that. Done a few mixes on here. Don't know if they're right or not. Let's give it a go. I'm going to fire this bad boy up if I can find the switch. So preliminary test runs. There we go. It made a noise. So push that out there a little bit. So like I said, we have got, that's reverse, that's forward, so we want to be in forward, and we want to go to all the way out, I believe. So let's try this out and see if it's going to work. Things are working. Look at that. Awesome stuff. Right here. Hopefully should be good to carry on, crack on, get this done. Boys and girls, check it out. I mean, got most of the chrome work on the bottom half now. See, wheels, tyres, suspensions all in, everything's running. We've done the hitch on the back there as well, so that's all good to go. The switch is mounted inside there we go. Yeah, it's coming along now. So I think next step really is probably going to be tackling the paint. So that'll be interesting, because I haven't got any. But soon. That is the body. I'm going to start prepping it for paint now. So I want to get off all of the mould lines that you can see in there. You can see in some there, for example. Yeah, I'm just going to go over it with a fine-tooth comb, try and get it as nice and smooth as I can, and then I think we're going to hopefully get on the primer and then the paint. So I've got some 1200 grit sandpaper that I'm going to start off with, and then when it comes to flattening it back, I'm going to be using some 2000 grit wet and dry paper as well. So let's give this a good old going over. Alright, so I've spent the whole entire day sanding this, real fine sanding this, getting it ready for primer, and then we're going to sand it back down a little bit, try and flatten it off a little bit after the primer's been applicated, and then onto the black we'll be going for, I don't even know where it says it now, there it is, TS14, so from white to black. But primer first. Alright, the first coat of primer's done. It's starting to look a slight different colour. Hopefully it will continue to be good. Okay, so that's all the primer I could squeeze out of the can that I had. So it's giving it a nice enough coat. A few here and there. Yeah, done. So now I'm going to go over this with possibly with some wet and dry. 2000 grit again, just to try and flatten it back as much as I can. And then on with the cans of black. Right, so we've got it all flattened back down now, so it's nice and shiny. Shiny. There you go, nice and flat. Now it's time, hopefully, for the black. Okay, so what I've done is I've given it 2 coats of black and then sanded it back, so it's once again it's nice and flat. It's quite matte at the moment, but obviously top coat will go on. Hopefully that will cover all of the little white bits, so all of the rivets and such as. But this thing's coming along now. Top coat is complete. Check that out. It's pretty shiny. You can see my reflection in it. That is the best job I could do. Best job I've ever done. Most amount of time it's ever taken me to do it. But I definitely think with this one, the juice is worth the squeeze. Okay, so basically it's time to reveal this bad boy. So once again, massive thanks to my dad for buying this for me. I've spent quite a while on it now. So we've added all them tiny little chrome details now and absolutely everything that we want to put on it. Apart from, you know, obviously down the line I'm going to be adding cameras, sound systems, lights and absolutely everything to this, hopefully anyway. But that's further on down the line. But for now, I'm pretty happy with it. Let me just show you. Check this out. So, we have got all of the chrome works on there now. The chrome strip above the lights. Look at this thing. It's a beaut. So, one last thing to do really, and that's give it a little drive. So, love it. Wicked. Right guys, thanks for watching this video. Can't believe how much this truck rips. Awesome, awesome. Stay tuned for more.